Good morning, this is JP from the Roger and JP Show at 102.3 WBAB, and you're listening to Plugged Into Long Island on 102.3 WBAB and Long Island's #1 hit station, 106.1 BLI. And this morning I am joined by Alex Lopez and John Lorenzo of ISF, Inclusive Sports and Fitness. I did a gig with them last year at Kingston's in Sayville, and began to learn a lot about what inclusive sports and fitness was. But I'm going to have them explain it to you. It's for children with, first off, good morning, Alex, and good morning, John.
Good morning.
Good morning, JP.
Alex Lopez started ISF how many years ago?
About 3 years ago.
And John, you're the parent of somebody of a child that uses the services?
Yeah, my son belongs to ISF as an athlete.
Right. So John, Alex, tell us what ISF is all about, and then we'll tell people about the really fun gig we're going to do at the end of September.
Sure. ISF is essentially Inclusive Sports and Fitness. It's a performance-based program designed for children with autism and other neurological conditions to learn how to play sports. And what we do is we use a really therapeutic approach using the best evidence in physical and occupational therapy and sports sciences and neurological sciences to teach kids how to move their bodies effectively so that they could play sports like other kids.
What is your background, and how did you come up with the idea of starting ISF?
Well, I'm a professor of occupational therapy at Touro College, and I've been running a number of community-based programs for children, particularly at-risk children. And during programming, I discovered a child with autism spectrum disorder who was having some difficulty with movement, and we learned over time why he was having some of these difficulties and explored a little further, and he was one of the children was actually an inspiration for the program. I explored other applications and the science behind it and put a program based on that experience with that one child.
So one kid sparked the whole foundation.
Certainly, yes.
And how many kids does ISF currently have in the group?
We currently have about 40 children within our program. In the summer months, we expand that program to reach out to more children. We have 40 children with developmental disabilities, autism spectrum disorder, and other conditions, but we also have about 100 volunteers that work with us that are typical children ranging from ages from elementary school to high school.
And why are they helping you? Why are they involved?
It's designed to be an inclusive program, so we have kids with disabilities and kids without disabilities, and they share the same experiences. And by that I mean that it's a program that doesn't designate one group as a problem child or a problem group. We treat them all equally, and they learn how to perform sports equally. We also provide a mentoring one-on-one training program for those typical kids to learn how to interact with children with disabilities, learn how to respond to any issues that they have, and learn to befriend them and carry that friendship beyond our programming.
And John, you have a child who is on the autism spectrum, correct?
Yes, yep.
What brought you to ISF, and what changes have you seen in your son from the program?
So when my son went from early intervention into kindergarten, into typical school, inclusive school, the early intervention school kind of holds your hand, let you go at the door. I felt that my son can probably do anything he would like to do at that point. I still feel that way, but there's roadblocks. They're not wired, for lack of a better term, like a typical child is. When I met Alex, I went down and saw his program, and I saw how he was treating them like a typical kid and able to interact with them like typical children and teach them sports and have the patience with them and make them run and push them to their abilities. And I looked at my wife and I said, this is the program our son has to be in. We've been everywhere. We've been to Colombia. We've been all over the place spending thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get intervention for our child. And I found Alex right here, and it's been a wonderful program. And
how old was your child when you recognized there was an issue from recognizing it? Because as a parent, when there's something just doesn't seem right, it just eats at your gut. But then you have to go through all the bureaucracy and the red tape, and just to try to get, to get a diagnosis is not easy, especially as a child. How old was your son when you had him diagnosed?
He was 3 when we had him diagnosed.
And I apologize. Am I using the right phrase with diagnosed?
I feel you are, yeah, sure. But I'm just a typical parent, so okay. You would know. If my son was three years old when we got him diagnosed, and from that point on, early intervention is a huge avenue to go with children on the spectrum. And we started early intervention at another school. And like I said, the gap between kindergarten and when they can kind of get into middle school or upper end of elementary school, that they have to kind of grow and learn with these other children that are growing and learning way much faster than they are.
Right.
This is where ISF comes in, because it's almost a safe haven for these children to be themselves, play sports, interact with other kids, and be social.
Right.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
And as a father, when we have boys, we just, the minute a boy is born, we just picture soccer fields, baseball fields, football fields. We picture all that stuff. Yeah. So when you get thrown a curveball, it's scary. It's got to be scary. What has ISF done as far as sport? Like, how has as a father of a son with autism, how has sports and the ISF program changed his game, for lack of a better phrase?
My son, back in the day, prior to ISF, would get together with other children and play with them for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and sit in the corner by himself. My son today leads the games.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. He's a character. He doesn't perform on the level that a typical kid would perform, but he's right there with them. And his running form, Alex has a program, part of the program in ISF, that videotapes the kids and analyzes their structure and their running. My son would run like not like a typical boy, and now he runs like a typical boy, and he's fast. He throws a ball now. He catches a ball now. His hand-eye coordination is there. It wasn't there in the beginning.
Do you notice a difference now in his grades in school?
100%. He second year middle school. He's going into 7th grade right now, and he last year he made high honor roll every semester going in there. Oh. And he has friends. He actually calls and asks for people to come over and have quote unquote play dates.
And they come over?
They come over.
That's
and they
awesome.
all hang out. Yeah, and it's all from this program. And this guy's an angel right now.
Again, Alex Lopez, he is the director of ISF?
I'm the executive director.
Executive director. And what made you come up with the idea as sports helping children with autism? What put the two together?
Well, sports are an important element of growth and development for many children. It goes even beyond precursors to playing sports. Is that movement is one of the essential elements of growth and development with regard to speech and communication, social interaction skills, and just overall movement. And without the ability to move your body effectively and understand your body effectively, it really impairs your performance in all aspects of life. And sports really brings it together. Another reason why I thought it was more of the justice model. You look at people and you look at kids on Long Island, and these elite players are getting all this specialized attention. They're getting on all the teams, all the travel teams, and there's a group of kids that are left out. And they're being left out has a really detrimental effect on growth and your confidence and things like that. And so giving children an opportunity, because opportunities is essentially what it is, to be able to perform like other kids and do things like other kids and then develop like other kids, essentially was one of the reasons why I thought sports was an important part of this particular program. When
you see a parent like John talk about the success that his son has had from your program, I mean, that's got to make you feel like, not that that's what you're going for, mm-hmm. but that's got to make you feel like $1 million.
Oh, I think that's my ultimate pay. Right. That when you look at what when a child performs at a certain level, and then you see them grow, that's what we're looking for, and that's essentially what. When I tell people, it's a performance-based program. We want to see change. We do evaluations on the children. We do standardized tests. We look at their performance over time. We do progress notes. Change is what we're looking for, and if we're not really doing that for your child, then we're probably not the right place for your child.
If a parent is listening with a child who has been recently diagnosed, or maybe they know for a couple of years, how do they find you?
We have essentially stayed kind of low key because we were we're working on a brand.
Yeah, this is low key.
Yeah, this is not low key.
I want to stay low key. Let me come in and talk about it on the radio.
But what happened was
and then host a big event.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What we were trying to do is really develop a model, like because we're doing research at Touro College. We're looking at whether or not there are reasonable outcomes that we can take this and package it so that other people can do it too. And so we were working for a long time in the first 3 years on developing a model that looked at the neuroscience of what we were doing and how we can make change. And now that we're making change and we're growing and we believe that this particular model is going to make a difference, I think that now is time for growth for us. And the other reason why we tried to keep low key is because we were 100% volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Wow. Every member of our board's a volunteer, so we had no staffing costs as you know, with experts in the field, occupational therapists, graduate students from many colleges and universities that intern for me and other occupational therapy volunteers. But now with the growth, we've had to hire physical therapists and occupational therapists to help further develop the model and reach more children.
Now, once you develop this model, is it something that you can? Is the goal to expand the concept beyond Long Island, nationwide? I see John getting a little like, yeah, that's what we should be doing. You know, yeah. He gets it because you know it works.
Yeah, it works. And you know, I'm not going to speak for Alex here, but I'm just going to.
You always do.
I always do anyway. I think our all of the board's goal would be to have ISF locations across the island in Westchester. So many of these graduate intern students come in and they intern for Alex. And when they graduate and become OTs and want to go out into the world and do this, the model of ISF can be opened up in Nassau County. It can be opened up on the North Shore of Long Island because we have parents all the time. We go to SEPTA meetings, we go everywhere, and we talk about it, and they say, well, we live up in Stony Brook. Can you? How do we get to you? Well, you got to drive down and come to us. 2 or 3 days a week. We don't have a place in Stony Brook.
Where are you in Hoppa? Correct.
Holbrook.
Holbrook. My apologies.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Is it just the one location
right now? It's a 4,000 square foot location on Veterans Highway in Holbrook. Yes.
Okay. And so you said the board members, as you're a parent, and then you saw the success and decided to jump on board.
Yeah. I asked Alex when he first brought my son down there, and I saw some progress. I said, Alex, how do you do this? And he said, I use my own money right now. And I said, well, what can I do to help you? And he goes, I got to start a board and start raising some money. And I said, perfect, I'll do it. Right. And we put a board together. And for the past 3 years, we've been increasingly raising more money because the awareness is out there. People know about it. And people, I'm speaking from a parent's point of view, people in my situation, my wife's situation, didn't have a place to call home for our kid. And now it's like when your kid goes to after school sports. My son goes to ISF. That's his home. That's where that's his game after it, and he loves it. And my daughter, who's typical, goes there with him just to mentor.
Hang on. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's his. So he goes every day after school.
He goes 3 days a week.
How much is it if I'm the parent of a child? What is it? Is it covered under my benefits? How much is it?
Well, we're. Because we're not connected with any insurance companies or anything of that nature, we're not. It's a nonprofit that is essentially looking to make a difference. We don't charge a lot of money. In fact, our summer program is a 6-week program. In the summer months, we provide 3 hours, 4 days a week of intensive therapeutic intervention at no cost. It's a free It's a free program for 6 weeks.
It's free.
Yes.
On Long Island?
On Long Island, yes. And
some might dare call you an angel.
Yeah, no, my wife wouldn't.
Yeah, I bet.
But and then throughout the year we provide our interventions. So we have sessions all year round, and we charge about it's $480 for 12 weeks, twice a week. So it comes out to about $20 for an hour and a half session with us.
Wow. I mean, if you're just tuning in, I'm with Alex Lopez and John Lorenzo from Inclusive Sports and Fitness. They are a nonprofit organization that helps children with autism through sports, which I think is just phenomenal. I mean, I also have a very close friend of mine whose child at 2 years old has been diagnosed and is already receiving services. But the idea of, having an opportunity to play sports for a child was just, I mean, when I mentioned this whole thing to her, like lit up. I can only imagine how many parents right now are listening, maybe have had a child recently put on the spectrum, are scared, are nervous, because, you know, when we have our children, we all have these visions of what their future is going to hold, and then all of a sudden life gives you a curveball and it's leap into action, but you don't know what to do. And now I turn on the radio at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning and I hear about this organization that offers free services, minimal cost services, sports, after school activities for their kids. I'm trying to find you guys. You know, I'm trying to find you guys. And I be honest with you might want to get a bigger building.
Yeah, we're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's what we're working on.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is what we're working on.
Even when if you ever visit our facility, you could see that we have state-of-the-art equipment. Much of the equipment that we're using, colleges and universities using with their football players, their basketball players. We have technology that we're using. The U.S. Army and Air Force uses their high-speed analysis cameras that we use. We use the same ones that they use. University of Notre Dame uses the interactive metronome with their football players to help improve their coordination skills, their agility, their timing and accuracy on the football field. We're using a lot of equipment. Like we don't have. It's not just a building, an open gym that has, you know, a few pieces of equipment. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment in that facility that really is specialized for elite athletes, and we're applying it with children with autism.
I got to be honest with you right now. You sound like, I mean, this almost sounds like an infomercial that's like too good to be true. Yeah. Like, you know,
it is too good to be true.
Let us help you make money in real estate. You know what I'm saying? But there's no, I mean, it sounds too good to be true, but it's not. I mean, it's the real thing. And, you know, I know we're in here. John and I have met. Actually, we all met about a year or so ago. And John, I actually, you know his wife, and his the success they're having with their child in this program, Inclusive Sports and Fitness, is just, I mean, it's enough to make any parent proud. It really is. And we are going to do a big, cool, fun end of summer event on the 25th of September at Kingston's Clam Bar in Sayville. And that's really what got me back involved in it. You know, Erin Colton was one of the event hostess with the mostest from News 12 last year, and she had mentioned it to me to come on down. And you know, the gang at Kingston's, Jeff Gagnon, he called me up and said, "Hey JP, can you come down? We're doing this big autism event for ISF." And I think Autism Speaks had a little bit to do with it last year. Are they involved again this year?
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah, we give we split the process between ISF. A gentleman that's on the board with us also is involved in Autism Speaks, so we give a little to them, and we give some extra money that we get going there for a family in need in the area that may need it and doesn't want to be too proud. They're too proud to ask.
Understood.
So we find a family in need in the area and we cut it.
Which one of you two guys wants to talk about the event? Because the event is basically a parrot head party. You know, I mean, it really is. It's like basically a parrot head party with benefits and proceeds. And if I remember correctly, weren't we giving away Fire Island weeks at Fire Island stays and like some of the events?
So you want me to speak?
No, you should speak.
So Jeff Gagnon, who
let him speak on the details. You talk about the party.
That's it. That's how it works. We work well together. Jeff Gagnon, owner of Kingston's, came to us over a year ago and said, "I would love to do an end of season bash." They close up seasonal, as people would know. The Kingston's, they're seasonal. So if we could do an end of season bash and we can give any proceeds we have to ISF, because it's such a great program, and I heard about Alex and my son has been doing so well in it. We said, yeah, sure, we'd love to. And we had some other people come in the area, and one of the gentlemen belongs with Autism Speaks, and we put together this small event we thought was small the first year, and it just expanded. We had people like yourself and Erin Colton. We have some music. Ed Travers plays he donates his time. A guy named Johnny Crucier, who's actually a teacher in some of the schools with these children, donates his time, and all different businesses and from the area and people actually donate food and donate raffle prizes and come and just have a great day. And it's a real cheap event for getting in. It's kid friendly. There's face painting and balloons and music and just fun and drink in the sun. in the end of September on Kingston's right on the water. So it's a wonderful event.
And how much did the event raise last year?
We raised $29,000 last year, I think, total.
Not bad
in
for
a
having
couple hours.
couple beers on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. It's the truth. Well,
it really is. It's a fun hang. It's like a charity event disguised as a chill hang on a Sunday. You know, last year I remember we just had great weather. It was honestly just like the perfect end of summer event, and it all went to a great cause. And that is Inclusive Sports and Fitness. They're located at 5010 Veterans Highway in Holbrook. Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that correct? Again, what's the website that people can?
So you can visit us at isfkids.org and or inclusivesportsandfitness.org.
Okay. And what would you like to see in the next year? What would you like to see ISF morph into?
Well, we've been discussing like a strategic plan and where we would be in the future. Because we've been such a low cost, low overhead kind of program, it's kind of hard to find taking it to the next step. Although as we grow, we are taking it that level. But we've talked about an opening a place in Nassau County as the next step, or across the island. Or we've also talked about just getting a bigger location, more centralized on Long Island. But you know, it's like I said, sometimes John Lorenzo and the board have really taken ISF to the next step as far as I was concerned, because I started with 8 kids.
Right.
Then we went to 15 the next year, and now we had 160 kids at a camp over the summer months. So I think it's inevitable. We're going to grow, and we're going to be able to reach more children. It's going to happen. Next year, perhaps in a second location, or
if I can interrupt a little bit, this is why Alex and I work so well together. As Alex said earlier in the program here, it's complete volunteer and it's complete nonprofit. 100% of the money goes back to ISF and the kids.
Right.
So in order for us to grow, which we're doing better every year, but donations, we need to raise money and raise awareness for these children and let Alex do his thing, and we can grow it at that point. Alex is not even paid to this. He has a full-time job, a full family, and he spends probably more time a week at ISF than a typical person would spend at work. On top of his full-time job.
It's got to be something else to be Alex is a professor of occupational therapy at Toro, and kind of came up with the idea that sports can really help children with autism flourish. And has put the science behind it and built a program around it. And, you know, John, who's also here as a board member, whose child goes through the program, you know, you changed his child's life.
Yes.
You did that. Make no mistake about it. You and your idea and your program and your hard work did that for him. And now you have the opportunity to grow this thing and do it for possibly hundreds of children with autism around Long Island. That's big time, man. That's big time. You changed his life.
Yeah, well, he's changing my life too. I mean, the board and what we're doing with the children is changing my life. So it's, you know, this is by no means one person. This is a community effort. We have lots of people within the community that have really helped this flourish. So it's not, you know, John Lorenzo was really one of the major catalysts for the growth initially, and now the board and other foundations have really helped move us forward.
Well, we're going to throw one big hell of a fundraiser September 25th. It's going to be at Kingston's Clam Bar. I will be one of your hosts. Erin Colton from News 12 will be there as well. My guess is taking the microphone and making sure nobody else talks on it. But she honestly, she didn't she give away like an extra week on Fire Island?
She did.
Yeah. We managed to find her.
Yeah, right. You know what? She did a great job, and she's the one who turned me on to this whole thing. And I'm really glad to have met you guys. If you are a parent of a child who is on the spectrum and you think this program, Inclusive Sports and Fitness, could help your child, by all means, check them out. The website again is
isfkids.org.
Okay. And again, I wanted to thank you guys for coming in. We'll see everybody at Kingston's. What time are we starting? At noon?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, September 25th at Kingston's in Sayville. I will be one of your hosts, and all the proceeds are going to go to ISF, some to Autism Speaks, and then another local family, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Again, check them out on the web. I am JP from The Morning Show on 102.3 WBAB. You're listening to Plugged Into Long Island on 102.3 WBAB and Long Island's #1 hit music station, 106.1 BLI. Again, I want to thank you, Alex Lopez, John Lorenzo from Inclusive Sports and Fitness. Thank you so much, and honestly, God bless, because I hope this thing blows into something like all your dreams come true out of this one, because you really are one of the good ones.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.